Brady in trouble. Here comes the rush, and here's the hit. And alive. What looked like a knockout hit by Nate Clemens.
vonallensports.
Who's 88? I gotta know. I just gotta know. Who's official 88? He sucked.
Not afraid to come over and straighten you up.
How you been?
Life's good.
Don't mind me if I'm yelling at you.
No, I'll take it all good.
I yell at you, nothing personal. I
know,
you know me, I'm a
competitive.
I don't think anybody questioned Tom's toughness. I don't know who's ever done that.
Could be overlooked.
By who? Brian Thompson, one of the toughest players in the league.
Got hurt handing the ball off to a running back. Really?
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it for 1 second. I think it's a non-story. It's bogus.
And Tom Brady, if you're listening, take off the skirt and put on some slacks. Toughen up.
Wow.
We all hate the Patriots.
There's an institutional arrogance.
Tom Brady would be a bum in shorts.
I hate Tom Brady. No, that's not good enough.
Deflated
Lance Armstrong without the bicycle.
Respect my authority!
Brady is a pansy because he cries for a flag after he gets hit. Wait a minute. You think Brady is doing that because he's not tough? You really haven't thought this through, have you? Brady is doing that to get his team a benefit. The game today is all about quarterback protection, and Brady knows the refs will respond accordingly. He's taking advantage of every strategic possibility available to him. It has nothing to do with toughness. That's just stupid to think. He wants that first down, and he will say anything to get it. I certainly hope my quarterback would do whatever it took to keep our drive going. Brady is good at making the right argument, and the refs respond out of respect. Quite a bit. Keep in mind also that the more a player is respectful to the refs and doesn't spend time in press conferences selling them out, the more likely you're going to get the call. Now, I know it shouldn't be like that, and the refs should just do their job no matter what, but the refs are human. They're not robots.
You guys do our San Diego game last year?
Joe, I can't remember where I worked last week.
You can't remember what?
Where I worked last week.
Oh, you're getting old, huh?
So, for example, let's say a ref who Cam Newton completely destroyed in public. They might just let Cam take a huge blow in the next game. I'm not saying it's right or fair, but that's the human element and the aspect of it.
I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's really taking the fun out of the game for me, honestly. It really is, because at times I don't even feel safe, right? And enough is enough, you know.
Brady understands this. If you notice, Tom is always talking to the refs before the game, shaking their hands, using small talk. Guys, this is psychological warfare, okay? This is psychological technique. I know all you guys say, oh, well, look at him, it's rigged, it's a blah, 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 you know, whatever, because look, Brady's in good with the refs. Come on. Remind the refs that you're a good dude and likable. The more the refs see you as a cool, respectful guy, the more likely that they will find the sight of you getting plowed to the ground very disturbing, and they'll find it very uncomfortable. And then guess what happens? Out comes the flag. But a quarterback who's not like that, well...
Mr. Fisher, how old are you? What, you about 13 out here?
The refs just see you for what you appear to be, an overpaid jock with no personal ties to them. It's gamesmanship, people. Nothing to do with toughness or lack thereof. For Brady, the game starts way before kickoff and continues even after the clock strikes all zeros. If Joe was playing now, he would do exactly what Tom does, because Joe is also that type of guy. He knew how to exploit situations. An interesting comment left by vonallensports subscriber Carl Hudson. From 1987 to now, the average weight of the largest defensive tackles in 1987 was 286 pounds. In 2018, 318. That's 32 pounds more crushing down on a quarterback. That kind of weight could be the difference between a broken collarbone, broken arm, neck, or concussion. What's even stranger is that the speed times didn't suffer that badly despite the weight gain. For defensive ends, between 1987 to 1994, the best times each year averages out to 4.69. Between 2012 to 2019, it was 4.53. This is very important when the difference between a quarterback getting the pass out of his hand to having it knocked out of his hand is fractions of a second. Speed time differential like that can mean how many sacks you get and if you're considered elite or not. And their average weight is increased, but they got faster? This is from better conditioning, more technology being introduced into workouts, better supplements. It's basic evolution of an athlete. And it's actually probably not a stretch to say that a modern defender in the top 30 could have been top 15 in the 1980s. But putting Brady exactly as he's been his entire career into the 1980s, like Carl said, I doubt they would even get to Brady in time to even justify a big hit after the ball had left them. And yes, back then, they did have roughing the passer calls as well.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 40 defense.
I throw the ball, and the biggest thing is I know the guy behind the camera right there is not very far away, but he can hit me still after I throw it.
You can't lower the shoulder and hit the guy in the back like that. No question. Roughing the passer, number 40 defense.
But if you watch the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl, you can clearly see that they hit both quarterbacks after the pass was thrown and there were no flags. Remember, and I will remind you of this throughout the video, this is only to show that the idea of saying Brady or any other modern quarterback couldn't play back in the day is flawed to its core. It's to show that the natural ability and intangibles of Brady and other modern quarterbacks would do just fine back then. At the same time, guys like Marino would have thrived in the modern game as well. The things that made these guys great quarterbacks was something inside of them. Whatever era you're elite in, you would have probably been something special in any other. Brady gets blamed for a lot of things that's not his fault. For example, this guy here believes the rules were changed in the early 2000s to benefit Brady. Well, that's not exactly what happened. The Patriots' aggression was the reason for the changes. It was Peyton Manning and the Colts who had that done. And afterwards, they magically won the Super Bowl. How strange, right? Nothing to do with Brady.
How about this? Jim Irsay sat in the competition committee and he changed the rules. He spearheaded changing the rules of coverage because he couldn't beat the Patriots' defense. And then his new rules shifted the advantage because they had a better offense than we had a defense. And within 2 years, they won a Super Bowl. Did we cry about it? We didn't. We just played by their rules.
He also gets blamed for the Brady rule. Hitting the quarterback in the legs became an issue after Carson Palmer was taken out in the playoffs, but it was Brady's injury that caused the competition committee to buckle down on it. It was the last straw, but the ball was already rolling on that. People see what they want to see, and they hear what they want to hear. It's human nature, but those who can get past that, they're the clever ones. And besides, is it Brady's fault or any other current quarterback's fault that the NFL has these rules? No. They have to play no matter what the NFL decides.
Listen to this. The Pittsburgh Steelers fan is selling this t-shirt for the Bernard Pollard fan club. On it is Brady's number 12 crossed out and the date the Pats QB was hurt. The shirts are selling for $18.99 each.
There's so many concepts of why Brady could play back then. It's just a lot of it is not something that most people think about. For one, Brady elevates his teammates. And not just Brady, but Peyton and Favre, all three of these guys have offensive linemen that would take a bullet for them. I loved Montana. I loved Marino, Elway, Kelly, all those guys. My idol growing up was Warren Moon, but I've seen the changes in the NFL and somehow public perception has been skewed very badly. Listen to these penalty statistics. Now, we're going to use 1995 as our source because this is the farthest I can go back to get accurate penalty statistics for each one. But 1995 was not that much different in the way the game was played than the mid to late 80s. So it gives us a fair gauge, at least, of how it kind of was and what the differences are. I truly wish I had older data. I like to be as accurate as possible, and I don't like to guess, but this is the oldest we've got. So in 1995, holding, offensive holding, was called 562 times. In the year 2011, the year Brady lost Super Bowl 46, it was called 601 times. Wow, not a huge increase at all. In 1995, pass interference was called 258 times. Check this out. In 2018, okay, this last season, the year Brady won Super Bowl 53, when it was supposed to be this flag football, watered down game, pass interference was only called 237 times. 21 times less after 23 years. Holy crap. In 1995, roughing the passer was called 45 times. In 2016, when Brady won Super Bowl 51, it was called only 85 times. That's strange. That's not that big of a difference as you would expect, huh? In 1995, unnecessary roughness was called 100 times. In 2007, when Brady lost Super Bowl 42, it was called only 127 times. So these all span different eras of Brady's career, clearly showing you it's not what you think. And there's no need to count his early Super Bowls from 01 to 04 because it was very similar to the 90s. Now, I hope this at least helps you realize that the NFL, as far as impact and trauma to players on the field, has not been wussified. The league just doesn't want their players not knowing their grandchildren's names. No matter what, concussions are going to happen, and violent collisions will too. A clean, legal tackle can break ribs, cause heads to bounce off the turf, rupture discs, lacerate internal organs, cause internal bleeding, whiplash, spinal trauma, and all kinds of things. Wow, that's from a legal, clean hit. So maybe they're throwing a flag on a knee strike or a helmet to helmet. Okay. The one area I agree with you is that some of the roughing the passer calls now are as simple as touching a quarterback's face mask. That I agree is absurd. But that alone doesn't undermine everything else. You have to remember also, technique is much better, causing less injuries. Helmets are better. Equipment is designed to take pressure, to absorb the hits better. New techniques in working out and eating right makes injuries less as traumatic, and technological advances in recovery times, there's so much to take into account. But most guys sitting on their couch reminiscing about the violent days of the NFL, I don't think give it that much thought, but they should. At least before they start trashing guys like Brady and questioning his toughness. I want to thank you guys for consistently commenting, liking the things you say. Even if you have a different opinion, you don't agree with me, I appreciate your input. Thank you so much. And make sure to subscribe so, of course, you get alerted when the new videos come. And be sure to go to our playlist and check out the episodes of the Brady Hates Saga and also Montana vs. Brady if you didn't get a chance to see those. I'll close you out with this.
To Adams. And then they're asking for help right away.
That looked bad.
Let's just hope he's okay.
Von Allen Sports.